So this is kind of like the 8 stages of finding Bitcoin. So the first one here, this is the kind of stuff you see on the 365 course. So the first one here, this is like the people who are the furthest away from becoming a Bitcoiner. So when you're meeting people, when you're having discussions with people in public, you kind of just got to get a gauge of where they are. Because if you're trying to, like, if I was to have a conversation with a purple hair freak about Bitcoin, I would realize how far away I am from it. And so you kind of have to tailor each conversation. Like, I don't even know where I would start. I have no idea where I would start. I don't think I would even try. So this is kind of like the furthest away from Bitcoiners, people with purple hair with no assets, which is the majority of them, because they mostly don't work. They mostly just leech from people who do work and like to complain and protest things that they don't even know what they're protesting. So that's purple hair with no assets. This is purple hair with assets, but the only way that people with purple hair accumulate assets are from their relatives passing away and leaving them with an inheritance. So both these two, purple hair, are pretty far away from becoming a Bitcoiner. So if you happen to find yourself in a situation with somebody with purple hair who wants to talk about Bitcoin, I would just leave, because you could be there for 3 weeks talking to them and you wouldn't change one thing in their head. 0-hour dipshits. That's kind of what I would call these people. Maybe not, because they actually, both guys that I was kind of discussing with, both of them had Bitcoin, but they were trading it. One guy was trading Forex, and one guy just said that Bitcoin's speculative and he tries to trade it. So they might not be 0-hour dipshits. They were good fiat slaves, though. They are Keynesian economics. The guy was actually defending Keynesian economics to me. And I think the guy worked, or he was a student or something. I don't even remember. But they're pretty far away from becoming a Bitcoiner. That's the point. And so with this in mind, I should have recognized right away what he was and what they were. And I should have just walked away. But I was sitting down, I was tired, and I was caught in a trap. So I would say that they were just good fiat slaves. 0-hour dipshits, they're people who are also good fiat slaves, but have an opinion about Bitcoin after spending 0 hours in Bitcoin, studying Bitcoin, using Bitcoin. Those are 0-hour dipshits. These people are very, very hard to have a conversation with. And so red, that means stop. Do not proceed. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Shitcoiners are kind of the next ones here. Shitcoiners, I say, some shitcoiners, not all shitcoiners are equal. Some people actually believe in like the utility of whatever shitcoin they're trying to sell. Like, I started as a shitcoiner, and I got there because I realized that something was wrong with the money. That's why I kind of put shitcoiners a little bit down on the list, closer to being a Bitcoiner. But they're still pretty far away. Like, anybody who's defending XRP or Caspa or any of these things, it's a waste of time. They still need to go through the lesson of being burned, either getting fully rugged or just seeing their asset, their shitcoin, go down against Bitcoin. They're still a long ways away. The next one here is a diversified crypto bro. So that's a shitcoiner with Bitcoin, essentially. It's like they have mostly shitcoins, but they still see the importance of holding Bitcoin. So this one actually might be yellow as well. I might change this one on the fly here. That one might be yellow. Oops, wrong one. What is that? This one? Yeah. Because they have some Bitcoin. They understand why. They might not understand why they hold Bitcoin, but at least they're like, okay, well, the money's broken. I'm going to get some shit coins. I'm going to buy some Bitcoin as well. And I'm going to try to swap these altcoins that I have for Bitcoin. So they kind of get it. They're close. They're yellow. They're proceed with caution. Next one here is the money. This is kind of like gold bugs. Gold bugs who understand the money's broken. They do actually own some Bitcoin, but it's like 2% of their portfolio. They're definitely the closest. Somebody like this, you could sit down with for like 2 or 3 hours and have a really good conversation. And they might go from 2% to 10% within the next year. Like these are the kind of people that you need to be focused on. These people here are a complete waste of time. Complete. If you do not value your time, then spend as much time as you want with these people. But you're not going to change their mind. You're not going to enjoy the conversation. It's a recipe for disaster. These people, I'd say that you can have a better conversation with. And obviously, the Bitcoiner, they have their green light on. They understand what's happening here. And you could probably marry them. These people are good to chat with. These people you want to marry or work with or build a business with. These are the people you want to form relationship with, either sexual or non-sexual relationships, like work, starting a business together, hanging out, going for beers. That's a friendship, relationship. These are the people that you want to build relationship with. These people. So that's kind of what started this, or that's kind of some context to what we're talking about. Because I would say that the guy that I was talking to was probably just a good fiat slave. So it was a waste of my time. But one of the things that he was arguing was that we actually need inflation, because when times are tough, when we go through a depression, when we go through a pandemic, he said that we need to print money because people are suffering. And that's like I feel like that's kind of the average person's take on why we need money printing. But this is what would happen in like a free market. I was trying to explain to him that prices in a fair market, prices go down, prices fall, because technology improves, things get cheaper to make, and therefore the cost of things should actually come down in real terms. And they have been. That's exactly what's been happening in Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin hasn't gone up, but the sats that you have, the purchasing power of those sats has gone up. The price of other things have come down in Bitcoin. Like look at houses. 5 years ago, you could have purchased a house for 5,000 sats or 5,000 Bitcoin, 5,000 sats one day. 5,000 Bitcoin could have purchased you a house. Today, 5 years later, it costs 5 Bitcoin. That means that the price of that house has actually gone down in real terms. It's been repriced by Bitcoin. That's the only thing that's happening here. So in that world where we have like this huge shock, which I think we're actually in right now, like you could argue that we're actually in a depression worse than the 1930s right now. Like if you look at the actual data and the indicators of what you would look at as a depression, we're actually worse, I think, right now than the 1930s. So what should happen and what actually is happening is that prices are coming down in real terms. Prices are coming down in real terms. Like a loaf of bread 5 years ago probably cost, I don't know, 50,000 sats. Today, a loaf of bread costs 5,000 sats. So the price of bread has come down in real terms because we are, in fact, in a depression. So you don't really need money printing for that. The prices naturally come down because when there's less people able to buy something, the price comes down. When there's less demand, there's less ability for people to buy things, prices come down. So that's what we're going through right now. And the other point that he made was that one of his main arguments in the debate that we had, the tequila debate, I'm calling it, was that if you save in Bitcoin, then when it goes down like it did in 2022, your life is ruined. But I just want to explain this because this is, I think, what a lot of people actually believe is that if you're a Bitcoiner and suddenly the price crashes, then you're in a lot of trouble. He said, so what would happen if the price crashed to X amount tomorrow? I said, well, it hasn't, so I don't know why we're talking about it. But if it did, I would be fine. Why? because I add value to the world. I work. So people pay me for things and I get paid no matter what. So let's just use an example right now, right here, right now. Let's say I make, and I'm just kind of making this up on the fly, but I think it's, if you can't make things up on the fly, then you don't really understand it. That's kind of my theory on it. So I apologize if there's some comments coming in. I just want to get through this first. So let's say that let's call this Jor's life in fiat. Okay. So Jor goes to work. Jor goes to work and gets paid $2,000 per week. Let's just say that. $2,000 per week. I go to work, I add value to the world, I get paid $2,000 per week. My expenses are $1,500 per week. So government takes some. This is net. My gross amount would probably have to be like $50,000 after the amount of taxes that the Canadian dollar is going to soak from me. But my expenses are $1,500 a week. And so I have $500 left over. Okay. So I put my $500 in the bank account, $500 in my checking account, my high interest checking account, because you never know when the water heater is going to blow. I want to have some cash in there just in case. So I got $500 and maybe I spend $100 on some stocks, whatever. $500 in a checking account. The one thing that I know for sure is this $500 is going to be worth less in a week from now. Because every time they print money, which is every second of every day, that $500 is worth less and less and less and less. That's a certainty. The only certainty in this whole equation is that my $500 is going to be worth less in a week from now. That's the only certainty we have in this whole thing. Okay. So I'm good. I'm okay here. I made $2,000. My expenses are $1,500. I have $500 left over. I'm good. That $500 is going to be worth less by the time I go to spend it, but I'm still above the water here. So Jor's life in Bitcoin. Jor goes to work, makes the same amount. Expenses, exact same expenses. And I have $500 left over. Okay, so I buy $500 worth of Bitcoin. That's how I decide to save my money. $500 worth of BTC. So this $500 in a week could be worth more, or it could be worth less. Could go either way. But historically, over the long run, it has gone up significantly. And the only thing that would change in this whole equation, if the price was going down instead of up, that means that I would just get more Bitcoin. That's how I decide to save my money in Bitcoin. The only thing that would happen there, if the price is going down, I get more sats. The currency that I want to save in, I get more of those units. So if the price is going down, I can still pay. Like I get paid $2,000. My expenses are $1,500. I take $500 left over. I put into Bitcoin. Nothing else changes, except that if the price is going down, I'm actually going to get more of the units that I want. Nothing else changes. I didn't starve to death here. I'm still earning money. I'm still paying my bills. It's just whatever I have left over, I put that into Bitcoin. Like that, it's such a big disconnect for people to understand this. So three things to highlight here. Number one is the only certainty in either side here is that the $500 that I have left over is going to be worth less in a week. It can't be worth more than it was. It's impossible because $500, that's the numerator in this equation, right? And I'll maybe explain why that is. So that $500 that you have, and let's say that there's how much was it? 22 trillion. It's 2.1 trillion. I don't know what this is. This is there's too many zeros to try to figure out what a trillion is. I'm just going to guess that. So if we go like this, it's kind of going to screw things up here, but delete. Okay. So let's make this number. Okay. So I'm going to explain why the only certainty in this equation is that your $500 is going to be worth less. Because if you take your $500, and we did a full show on this the other day. So for those who watched it, I'm sorry to sound like a broken record, but there's your percentage of the network, of the fiat network, your ownership in the fiat network. That's what it is. That $500, that's what this is. In a week from now, the government just printed another, what is it? Is it how much per day? I forget how it is. Let's just say that it was $100 billion that week. Because they don't care. They do not care. So they printed, I don't know what it is even. Anyways, that's how much they printed. So we go like this equals this plus their newly printed amount. And we have a new number. It looks kind of the same, but your percentage now, $500 that you have divided by the total monetary supply, the new one, is this. So your ownership, I guess we need a little bit more here. We need more decimal points for this. Let's say that this was 500,000. No, what? Okay, so we lost 1% there. But either way, that's the only way because this number is not going down. It's only going up. The total money supply is only going up. So your fixed amount here that you had, your $500, the only certainty in this whole thing is that you're going to own less. Your $500 is going to be worth less than it was. That's the certainty here. The other part is that, yes, your $500 could be worth more, it could be worth less, but historically over the long run, if this is how you decide to save your money, it has gone up. Your purchasing power has actually gone up. It hasn't just held, it's gone up. And so if the price is going down, then the only thing that happens there is I actually get more units of what I want. If Bitcoin's how I choose to save my money, when the price goes down and it's going down and down and down, then my $500 worth of fiat is actually buying me more of the units that I want. Because again, historically, over the long run, it has appreciated, it has held its value, and it's actually appreciated. The purchasing power actually appreciates. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with that. It takes a while for people to understand that. So I get it. Like definitely wasn't shitting on him. I don't mean to shit on him at all. It's just that it takes a lot of time to get to that kind of understanding of what that asset is, but it takes time. And that's why we call them 0-hour dipshits, because they don't spend any money actually, or any time actually learning about this stuff and what it is and why it actually is valuable. He said, well, what if people stop using it? I said, well, then it's done. But they haven't. Clearly, more people value Bitcoin than fiat. That's why it's gone from 60,000 to 120,000 in the last year, is because more people value Bitcoin than fiat. That's why it's gone up. So you're arguing something here that might or might not happen. But historically, and everything we've seen, and when you have a better understanding of Bitcoin, you don't go back to fiat. You spend 1,000 hours in Bitcoin. You have the green light turn on in your head of what this asset is. You don't go back to fiat. So with that in mind, there's more and more people every day with their green light on, understanding Bitcoin, more and more people fighting over a fixed amount of sats. And that's why it goes up. So people like him don't value Bitcoin. They don't understand Bitcoin. So they're not part of the people chasing those scarce units. But he will one day. One day he's going to understand the power of saving in Bitcoin. And then he's going to be added to the top number. And then there's going to be even more people fighting for a fixed amount of scarce units, which drives the price up. The more people fighting over a fixed amount of supply, the price goes up. You can buy more with what you have. Your ownership in that network goes up, not down.